Dean Linke with Doug Lemov, and I love this guy so much that I actually want to read his bio to you so we get it straight, as Doug is the ECNL Coaching Methodology Advisor and an impactful educator of both teachers and coaches. He is the international best-selling author of the bestseller Teach Like a Champion and of the highly acclaimed The Coach's Guide to Teaching. He is also the co-author of Practice Perfect, Reading Reconsidered, Teaching in the Online Classroom, and Reconnect. Lemov has been an instructor with the U.S. Soccer Federation in their pro license and other courses, and has continued to consult with coaches and sporting organizations around the world, including in the MLB, the NBA, MLS, and so much more. Doug, thanks for letting me read your bio. I mean, you're a fixture at this thing. You wouldn't miss this thing ever, right?
I love coming to be connected to coaches at ECNL. It's just like there's so much. I say that as an educator and as a dad. There's so much intentionality about how we teach the game that I'm just grateful to be a part of it. So thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, my pleasure. As you summarize your time, and I felt like you were a little bit rushed, but what were the key points you wanted to leave with people today?
Yeah, I wanted people to understand how important perception is to decision making. We do what we do because of what we see, so we should try to shape what players notice, what they perceive, but also that perception is knowledge informed, that you understand what you see because of the background knowledge that you have. And I think coaches often overlook background knowledge, and they just want to put players in exploratory environments without giving them the tools to get more out of it. And I just think there are some very simple fixes that coaches could think about there that would be helpful.
I like the crossover into particularly the NBA. You used a couple of videos there, but you told me even before this interview, you had another one on skill development. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. This insight came from, it started with, I was working with Dusty May. He's the head coach at Michigan. He's having a great year, great coach. And he's working with one of his players on his 3-point shot. So they're trying to change his mechanics a little bit. And so they just want him to get his feet under himself a little bit more quickly before he shoots. You know, like speed with which you develop a shot is really important at that level. So assistant coach passing the guy the ball, he's shooting, and he's doing really well. And we're watching together. And one of the things that I noticed is that the pass is always perfect from the coach to the player, right? And interestingly, the pass is rarely perfect in the game, right? The pass comes a little bit too late or a little bit too early, or it's too close to your body, it's too far from your body, it's too high, it's too low, it's a bounce pass when it's a lob pass when you're expecting it, or the guy passing to you occludes the ball so that he can't see it coming, and then it comes across his body. And the coach is trying to help the player shoot by giving him perfect passes every time. And what I was talking about with Dusty is, what about imperfect pass? What about that pass, either like without telling the player, just starting to make some imperfect passes. So the player has to adapt the movement and the motion that he's made to challenging situations, or even telling the player, great, now I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to try and make you react and like get your feet under you in challenging situations. I thought that was really fascinating. Since then, I've had a conversation with one of the NBA teams that I work with about it. Do you want to guess what the ratio of bad passes in the game is, the ratio of bad passes in practice? How much more often do you get a bad pass in the game than you do in practice?
Gosh, I'm hoping it's less.
Yeah.
Is it not?
It's 12x. 12 times more bad passes
in the game
than in practice, because coaches want first of all, I think like the pass into the player shooting is like beneath the threshold of narrativity that we don't think it's important enough to pay attention to, but it's actually one of the most important things.
Right.
And we want to serve players by helping them, by giving them good passes.
Right.
But once this player has got the movement down, once he's like, got it right, now I need to start challenging by mixing up the pass. So it was really, Dusty and I were talking about this, and he walked right out on the court and just started like giving the player copy passes and moving him around. And then we made a list of like, what are all the variables you could think about as a coach passing the ball, right? Too close to the body, too far from the body, too fast, too slow, but even like just moving your location around to different distances and angles, asking the player to make a different cutting action before he receives the ball, putting different defensive situations for him to look at. That variation, interesting, it will cause the player to succeed less in practice, but it will cause more of what he's doing to transfer to the game and the variability in the game. And I I thought that was so interesting and so useful for coaches who work on skill development. That ironically, one of the most important things is the entry pass from the coach to the player, which seems like an afterthought.
Yeah. I love talking passing, by the way. I'm a lifelong Lakers fan. Used to go to the Forum.
Yeah.
That's and Magic Johnson, his passing ability was incredible. And say what you want to say about LeBron James, his ability to put the ball in the right spot is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
In games.
I mean, that's why. How old is he? How old is he now?
41.
Yeah, like playing at 41. You have to do smart things to compensate for. He's a physical outlier, but he's still 10 years older than anyone else.
Right, right. All right, you're doing all these cool things, and yet I get the feeling, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but anything to do with the ECNL, I always feel like you're ready. Okay, why is that?
I think just commitment to excellence. I believe, again, I believe this as a dad, but did I want my kids to love playing soccer? Yes. But part of what they loved about playing soccer was understanding it and taking it seriously and playing in an environment that respected them and challenged them and taught them the game right. I just retired as a soccer parent. My daughter played, my son and my daughter played. My daughter just finished her collegiate career. And it was a really successful collegiate career.
Nice.
But I don't know that we would have seen that coming. Like a lot of, she was a very kind of overlooked player when she was young. But what she really wanted was to learn the game right and to be in a situation where her former coach is actually in the room today, Steve Freeman from Blackwash Premier, and she transferred to that club through a different club. In the first session, he was teaching the players about support positions above, below, and even with the ball. And it was like she learned more about how to play right in that one session that she had in all the years that she played with another club that just wasn't as committed to her learning. And when she walked on campus as a freshman, several years later, unheralded freshman, that knowledge of the game and knowing how to play the game right was the first thing that stood out to the coach. And she ended up, she ended up being starter and a captain. And it was really that commitment to teaching the game right. You don't always see the results until down the road.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about ECNL. It's just high standards, quality competition. Let's honor kids by teaching them how to play the game the right way.
Well, and I love that answer also because you're talking about your kids, because my favorite thing to do, even as a broadcaster, was to watch my kids play. So
I don't know what I'm going to do now. We got a dog. That's my retirement. 20 years as a soccer parent.
Right.
All those times driving to tournaments, and I was like, do we need quite so many tournaments? But now I wouldn't pay to be on the road driving to a soccer tournament in New Jersey.
Amen. Yeah. I'm already excited about coaching my grandkids whenever they come. I don't have any yet, but that'll be my plan. Right, just two questions with you, because I know you love speaking in front of big groups, but you also strike me as a man who loves to maybe pick up the phone and talk to somebody like Christian Lavers about things. Talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
Interesting. I hate being in front of big. I'm an introvert, but I think the thing that I'm happiest when I'm learning, and I think talking to other insightful people makes me. Maybe that's another great thing about ECNL. It's a network of like-minded people who care about what they're doing. I love my job because I get to talk about something that matters to me with people who are smarter about it than I am. It's really interesting working. I don't know anything about basketball, but the lessons from basketball are instantly up on soccer. So, the one-on-one connection and community is really an incredibly valuable part of. I think that's why organizations like this matter. They give people the bridges to build connections.
Cool. Just to do a full loop, I got to get your take, because I don't get what Cleveland's doing with the James Harden Garland trade. Yeah, what's your take on that?
The one thing that I should have to know that I don't know enough to know, I was confused by that trade as well. But so much of the NBA is also just about the finance, the money management.
Right. Yeah. So maybe there's another move.
This is one where I should just say I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to ask me about some of Crystal Palace's the transfer decisions in the January window.
Yeah.
Then we can go a little bit.
Okay. What's your take? You got anything?
I'm mildly concerned. I think Mark Gahey is a once in a generation player. He's impossible to replace. I think they did what a lot of clubs. I think Jurgen Strand Larsen is a really strong striker. They probably overpaid for him. Do you need to overpay for the guy? But I think that they have a clear sense for how they want to play, which I think matters. And I think that they have. But I think Adam Wharton is a hidden gem, in part because he does a lot of things that clubs in ECNL are trying to do. Right, his vision, the passion he takes setting up other players up to succeed. I think he will make the players around him better, and that always inspires me to have.
Cool. Doug, you always inspire me. Thanks for being with us.
Pleasure. Great.
Doug Lemov, great to have him on.